A very good Sunday morning. This is Studio AP, and this is Morning Drive on a championship Sunday. We're going to be with you until noon and then right into live golf. Gary Williams, Robert Dameron, winner on the PGA Tour, the rest of the gang in just a moment. And Robert, there's so much golf going on. There's so many interesting storylines. We've already crowned one champion. You're going to see the highlights of that from the European Tour. But how about the LPGA? It's very interesting to note what's going on, what's happening now with Lexi Thompson, considering the circumstances of the ANA. She comes back a couple weeks later, she wins at Kings Mill, and now she's got herself a 54-hole lead, looking to become the first multi-time winner this season on the LPGA. But it's going to require another good round. She's making a truckload of birdies, but look at this. Lindy Duncan, who is a fascinating story, she has never been within 5 shots of the lead heading into the final round, and she's in the final group.
Well, that's we're going to really have some interesting golf then watching her. That's
the deep end of the pool.
That is thrown in early to the deep end of the pool. You're not kidding.
Yeah, let's go back, though, and everybody knows this circumstance regarding Lexi Thompson, and there are varying degrees of how people evaluate what transpired there. But it appeared that she was on her way to winning another major championship, and what transpired, what appeared to be a very penal penalty, meaning 4 shots, and she went from look like she was going to coast to winning a major championship to not winning, and the heartbreak and the tears and that very emotional interview she did with Jerry Foltz when it was over. Now she sits here, she's rebounded. What does it say about this 22-year-old that she is on the cusp maybe of winning again for the second time and putting that in a rearview mirror?
I think of guts when I see Lexi, and I'll tell you why. She's played great since the incident, but it started immediately. I mean, the second she found out she's got 4-shot penalty, she birdies the next hole. She goes down, could have collapsed completely, fought her way back to get into a playoff, lost the playoff, won last week, winning again this week. You're looking at what I think we think Ariya Jutanugarn and Lydia Ko, number 1 and 2, flip-flopping. I think right now this is the best player in the world.
You do. Wow, that's a heck of a statement. And the other thing is, you know, Lexi's very active on social media. She's very personable. She's grown up right before our very eyes, very mature for 22 years of age. But she's heard the whispers about integrity and about how dubious that looked. She knows it.
I thought she had some explaining to do. As a guy who played so many tournaments, I can't even count that high, I wanted an explanation. How do you make that mistake? I can tell you I've never done that. Right. I've never made the mistake. And well, she came in from the side. She wasn't paying attention. She got distracted. I don't know, but she doesn't owe me an explanation, but I was looking for one right. that satisfied me that this was an accident and not intentional. And
it was such a big story that it really dominated press conferences the following week. All the participants in the Masters tournament were asked about this circumstance, and Phil Mickelson had some fascinating thoughts about it. Let me say this about her at 22. Is she the type of player like an Adam Scott? She's such a good ball striker. She's leading the field in driving distance, just a smidge under 300 yards this week. She doesn't have to be a great putter to be the best player in the world, does she?
No, she doesn't. You look at the best players on the men's side, from DJ to Jason Day. They weren't the best putters. Day's made himself a good putter.
And Hogan certainly not.
Hogan certainly wasn't. Vijay Singh hated a putter in his hand, and he was number 1 in the world for a long time. If you hit the ball consistently close, long down the fairway, you don't have to putt that great, but you can't putt awful either. So I remember playing with her brother one time when she was first coming up and just a young teenager. And I said, is she the real deal? He goes, she is so good, it's a joke. She hates putting.
Wow. How about that?
So even at a young age.
She's going to need another low round. The scoring has been outstanding. She was bogey-free in crosswind, shot 67. What else is happening now? Well, we've already crowned our first champion on this Sunday, and that was on the European Tour. And this was going back and forth. This looks like it could be a multiplayer playoff. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from Austria. Here is J.B. Kruger. This on the 12th hole. 474-yard par 4. You're thinking 4 is a really good score.
Oh, yeah. Tough golf hole, and he just went ahead, took 4 and cut it in half, made a 2.
All of a sudden, he jumps himself right in the middle of contention, and he gets himself to the 18th tee, tied for the lead. Now, this golf course concludes with a par 3, so we move to that hole. as he enjoys this celebration. I mean, he really was just kind of hanging around on the periphery, but you see that he makes birdie on 10, he eagles 12, he gone out in 35, but suddenly he is in contention. So we get to the 18th hole, he is co-leading at this moment.
His mindset changed immediately after holding that from like, I'm having a nice tournament to I can win this, and that swing was as bad as the other one was good. It's so far out in front of it. You saw him try to flip the club and save it, but the ball was long gone.
Yeah, Richard McAvoy was also in contention, put in that bunker as well. Here is Dylan Fratelli, young man from South Africa. His eagle chip here on 16. Nestles it up there close, makes birdie. So he is now in the lead. And he's trying to maintain it because he knows what's likely going on in front of him. And this is for par on 17.
After driving it in the right rough, struggling, you know, all the bundling nerves, trying to win his first event, and that was such a good putt, it's hard to put into words.
Wow, it really was. Perfect speed, took the subtle break from right to left. So now he had a very solid tee shot on that closing hole, the par 3. So he's got a mere tap in, but it's not mere when it's for your first victory.
Well, I remember the old story of Bobby Jones saying he had a 6-incher, and the thought in his mind was, I might go over top of this and whiff it. So I bet there were a lot of thoughts in his mind, even though it was half a foot away.
Wow, what a weekend. 68, 67 on the weekend to outlast a field that a lot of players in the last hour look like they may be holding on to that trophy. The Lioness, he is your victor, and he is a first-time winner on the European Tour, so you want to know what is going through his head after getting it done for the first time.
Well, Dylan Fratelli, European Tour winner, Lioness Open champion. How does that sound?
Sounds amazing. Start of the week, I was obviously hoping for this, but I'm really elated right now and super stoked.
Well, you nearly came close at the Volvo China Open there, just lost in the playoff. Very triumphant shout at the last there. Bit of frustration coming out there, I'd imagine.
I guess, yeah. Just trying to get it on the green and make a par and avoid a playoff. My 0-2 record in playoffs not very good, so didn't want to have extra guys in the playoff. Trying to beat them there on the 18th would have been tough, so really happy with the way I hit that 7-iron in, and I knew it was right. That was just letting out a bit of frustration, as you say, yeah.
Crucial shot on 17 as well, that putt. That was a crucial one at that stage, wasn't it?
Yeah, for sure. It was one of those putts. I looked at it early on, saw the line, knew exactly what it was doing, so had to wait around for the other guys to putt, but I kept it in the back of my mind as to what it's doing and nailed the putt.
I guess you like Austria. You won on the Challenge Tour, now you won on the main tour. What is it about Austria?
I'm not sure. That was, I guess, 3-4 years ago that I won down in Carinthia, but 5 years ago I played this tournament as an invite. The tournament gave me an invite and I managed to miss my second round tee time. So I'd like to think that that's a role reversal here 5 years later, and basically a culmination in the hard work I've put on in between those two periods.
What does this mean for your career going forward, Dylan?
Big things, hopefully. I mean, hopefully I get into the Open through this performance, should move me up the race to Dubai and open up some more doors further down the road.
Do you have a message for anybody watching at home? Anybody in particular?
Yeah, for sure. My mother, my father, my sister, all my family around South Africa and around the world. All my coaches, Chuck Cook back in Austin, Jay Brunzer in San Diego. Just guys have been great, stuck to me and try to help me out through the down times. And thank you guys for everything.
Well done. Great champion.
Thanks, Jamie.
So the first win for Dylan Fratelli, maybe a congratulatory text from his college teammate Jordan Spieth. He'll get one of those. For him to do this in the manner in which he did it, you got a bunched up leaderboard. He had the lead at 13 under par, made a couple of bogeys. How about his resiliency coming down the stretch, 16, 17, and 18?
That's where he'll draw the most confidence from going forward, playing other tournaments. Not just the fact that he won and he has the trophy, the fact that he gutted it out and he tried to throw, or he did throw the lead away.
Yeah.
But he fought back. The putt on 17, that clutch putt is going to replay in his mind, and he's going to smile every single time for a long time coming.
I told you I was just a smidge disappointed in him because he was wearing glasses today when he won. He only had a tap in, but he's worn glasses before making an important putt. The 2012 NCAA championship. Now look at that's how you throw glasses.
There you go. That is a celebration. We didn't see that. It was much more subdued today. I'm a little disappointed as well.
Where's Spieth in that scrum? He couldn't get in there fast enough.
Oh, JPA Bear on the end.
Yeah, there you go. All right, so those are college kids. You know what else is going on this week? College kids. The Arnold Palmer Cup first started in 1997 right down the road from here at our world headquarters at the Bay Hill Club. And the highlights from yesterday, it was a historic day at the Atlanta Athletic Club. Doug Gim, the United States got on a roll, and when they got a roll, it was steamrolling. Here is Doug Gim. off the fairway on the par 5 12th.
Really good shot, bringing it in pretty close. You saw his opponent over there a little further away, so he knew this would be for a win on the hole.
Yep, sneaks in the left-hand side. He dusted his opponent. He won 7-5. Now, Jimmy Stanger, watch the action on this golf ball. Now, you can get this if you really strike it perfectly from the pine straw. This is on the 14th hole.
More times than not, you get a little pine straw involved in the shot, and it comes out a little knuckly and doesn't spin like that, but that was crisp.
It certainly was. He'd win his match 3-2. Nick Hardy, his second on the par 5 12th.
Nick Hardy, we saw him battling at the NCAA Championship Finals not all that long ago. Guy that we're just get used to hearing this name, I believe.
Yeah, he launched that way up in the air, so that will leave him an eagle opportunity after he missed that, ran it by about 3.5 feet. He would make that. He would stay 4 up. Now we move on to the 14th hole. We stay with Nick Hardy. This long birdie putt from roughly 30 feet.
Well, if you're going to shut your man down, you might as well do it in style.
I mean, are you kidding?
That ball would have gone in a Cheerio.
Truly. So he wins 5-4, and the United States, after being deadlocked at 5-5 after day one, look at the results of those singles matches: 9.5 to 1.5 to take an overwhelming, commanding lead at 14.5 to 5.5. We'll be checking in throughout the morning with our Chantel McKay, but we say good morning again to Lauren Thompson and Travis Fulton.
Hello, G-Dub. Thanks for that. All right, let's check in with the PGA Tour today, heading into that final round at TPC South when 3 players tied for the lead. Moving into it all, Rafa Cabrera Bello, the Spaniard, 2-time winner on the European Tour. Also, Stuart Sink, looking for his first title since becoming a major champion 8 years ago at the 2009 Open. And then we've got Ben Crane, all of them at 9 under par. But a lot of guys to pay attention to, including Daniel Berger and Travis Fulton. You've got some notes on the defending champion, don't you? And that swing, it's a unique move that he has.
It is a unique move. And, you know, they say oftentimes all the fun and the real education are in the outliers, the guys that really do it their way, kind of an unusual type of golf swing. And Jeff Leishman, over the last 10 years, and his coach has worked with Daniel and has really worked, I think, with the components and the DNA of Daniel's swing. And I'm going to show you a couple unusual things that Daniel's always done, but really is a nice ball striker and making a move to defend his title this week at the FedEx St. Jude Classic. So we start here at impact, and when you look at this, you know, there's really nothing too unusual there at impact in the way he arrives. Low air into the right heel. You can see the left hip's turning out of the way, the shaft's forward, the path and face match up beautifully. But all the fun now, right, starts in the way that he takes the club back. So here we go. We're going to split the screen here. We're going to draw a line in up the shaft plane here just as a reference point. And the first thing that always stands out to me with Daniel, we're going to take this halfway back. I can count, LT, on one hand how many players, watch this, take the club head this far to the inside. So let's go ahead and roll it here, and it's going to dip underneath that plane quite a bit. Most players that we watch on the weekend are going to get the club head somewhere out here on this yellow line.
Exactly.
Or if anything, they'll be out above it. All right. So Daniel takes it a fair amount inside, probably from his tennis background, you know, kind of the overhand in here, then back this way. So he kind of gets it inside, right? No problem. Here we go. Now we're going to go to the top of the swing. And as we go up to the top, the very 3/4 type of swing. So here we go. We'll continue on up. He makes a nice full turn. And then we're going to bring in another line here, okay? And we're going to bring this hand line in. And this is the second thing that really fascinates me about Daniel's swing. Watch where his hands go as he starts down. His hands are going to drop straight down vertically. Okay?
There's that adjustment right off the top that he has to do to get it back on plane.
Right, so here we go. So his hands go just like this. His hands just drop straight vertically like this. Okay. Now, most players, what you're going to see their hand path work this way. It's going to work out this way, and that's what gets the shaft to shallow down. Not Daniel. He takes it in here, and then from there, his hands drop straight down vertically. You don't see that a lot, and get the shaft to lay down. Very unusual, as we see on the PGA Tour. Now, from here, here's where the goods really start to line up. Watch this as we come down to impact. Watch where the shaft returns. Boom, right where it started.
Amazing.
Right? It is. So his hands, club head, return right where they started. He likes to fade the ball just a little bit. This is really good stuff through here. Watch this. Watch his hands exit a little bit to the left here. They're going to kind of stay on that yellow line as he turns. So let's go ahead and roll it. So his hands don't chase down the target line. His hands continue to work with his pivot back to the left. And when you can do that, you'll get good layback in the face. And what I mean by that is that face will kind of look back at the player or at the camera, and that's good action. The club face doesn't over-rotate through. He's using his body to rotate through, and that's a good sign of a good ball striker. But some unusual things. I love the outliers. Jeff Leishman's done a terrific job with Daniel Berger. 70, 68, 66. If he keeps that trend, 64, who knows, back-to-back titles.
Exactly. Looking for his second PGA Tour title. It's a move that has worked for him well, so why change it? As we get you back to Gary Williams.
Okay, Lauren, yeah, he would add another seersucker jacket to his closet. There are 5 players who have won this event on multiple occasions, and Ben Crane is another guy who's looking to do the same thing. His last 54-hole lead was right here in 2014. You know, he's won 5 times. Is he underrated? He gets talked about because of his pace of play,
slow play,
far more than his play.
And his crazy videos on YouTube.
Which you don't see much of those anymore.
No, he's kind of fallen off the map. Actually, last time I saw him was on a milk carton. Have you seen this man? He's been missing for a while.
Right.
It's good to see him come back because he is a good guy. He's a slow player, of course he is. He works on it though. He acknowledges it. He moves forward, but his game yesterday was really solid. One birdie per side, 16 pars. 2 birdies and 16 pars. He was just out there grinding it out, and it's going to take probably a little more than that today, though. He's going to have to do something a little more dynamic than making a 16 pars.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Even if he wins, he is not going to be able to get into the top 60 in the world, which you need to be to get into the U.S. Open next week. That'd be kind of an oddity if you'd had the last winner on the PGA Tour not in the next major, which is the following week. Meanwhile, Rafa Cabrera-Bello is in the U.S. Open next week. This is a young man. A lot of American golf fans saw him for the first time at the Ryder Cup, and he impressed. He looked like he handled that environment exceptionally well.
He and Thomas Pieters were the studs of the losing team. They really were. And they're 2 guys that, as American golfers, we saw and we go, well, you know, these guys probably should stay and play more in Europe because they're going to take a lot of money away from the players over here. Great players. Probably Rafa, odds-on favorite today.
I think so.
Well, when you just look at the last year or 2, higher-ranked player, been around more younger. So, you know, and he spends a little time in the gym, I understand.
Yeah,
I mean, geez.
He's in very good shape. When they did one of those marketing things for the European Tour, that guy tried to have him take his shirt off.
And I think
he wanted to. I don't know that he did he?
I think he showed. I think he pulled him up a little bit. I'm not going to do that.
He is 30th in the world, and he is spending a larger chunk of time playing in the United States. Played very well in the Players. All right, for now, let's send it back over to Bailey.
I remember that video, and don't ask me why, but yes, he did actually lift up his shirt.
Bailey knows.
Bailey.
All right, here's a look at the tee sheet. What's coming up? We're with you until noon Eastern here on the Sunday Championship Sunday on Morning Drive. So Travis Fulton, yesterday on our show, he issued a Weekend Warrior Challenge. He asked for 2 photos of you. The first, you at setup. The second, where you think that you are at impact. So coming up, he's going to show the photos that you sent in over the last 24 hours. He's going to help you get to that perfect impact position. And it is another Championship Sunday. The European Tour already handed out their trophy to Dylan Fratelli, but plenty more to be doled out, including one in Memphis. So throughout the morning, we're going to be going inside the ropes, taking a live look at players warming up for their final rounds of the FedEx St. Jude Classic. And we had golf's very own Mr. Fitness in our gym all week long here on Morning Drive. We were going to re-air the best singular fitness segment from the week, and then we all realized that we couldn't choose just one. So instead, we have a compilation of the best of Gary Player from this week, and trust me, you do not want to miss this. So we are live on a Sunday with you until noon Eastern time. More Morning Drive is back right after this.
Do you want to show everybody your apps?
Oh yeah, I'm dying to. Bailey?
I said apps.
No,
Apps on
okay,
your
we can deal
phone.
with that.
Who wants to see your abs?
The shirt.